Welcome to the step 2 of the spouse or partner and dependent sponsorship program. In this particular step, we are going to take a deep look at the document checklist and the requirements needed to make this application a success. So as you can see on the left side of my screen, it says step 2, gather your documents. In here it says if you don't include all the requested forms and documents listed on the checklist, that your application will be returned without process. And also, if you're unable to submit an item on the document checklist, you need to provide a detailed explanation on why you could not submit that document. So first off is the information about previous examination. So if you have in the past applied for a permanent resident visa, then you're going to indicate yes. If not, you choose no. Then part A are the forms required. So the document checklist for sponsor and principal applicant. So this is actually the document checklist. This is the one we're going through right now. So you are going to indicate this, and it says you must attach this checklist, both part A and B, all pages, as the covering page for your application package. Meaning once you go through this whole process and you indicate the forms that apply to you, this is going to be on the first page of your application process before you submit it. So for sponsor, you have to include an application to sponsor and also sponsorship agreement and undertaking. And that is this one right here. In the step 3 of this video, I will walk you guys through on how to fill out that application. And then the second one is, the third one rather, is your application fees. So if you are going to be sponsoring your loved one, your spouse, dependent children, you're going to include the application fee receipt, and then also for the dependent children. And also, if you are including the right of permanent residence fee, you are also going to indicate this. As you can see, I indicated that to show that based on the demo video I'm making, I'll be indicating that because I'll be adding it in the application process. So number 4 is the financial evaluation. So it says only complete this form if the person you're sponsoring, your spouse, has one or more dependent children. So if this applies to you, then you are going to indicate this. If not, then you uncheck it as well and just put not applicable, or just leave it as that. Then for number 5 is the class of application. So this is a very important area. It says, note, you, the applicant, must declare your family members, the ones accompanying and non-accompanying. If you do not, it might result in the refusal of your application and the inability to sponsor them in the future. So here you are going to indicate if the persons or your spouse, partner, conjugal partner, and dependent children, if they are already in Canada or if they're outside of Canada. So if they're already in Canada, then you are going to indicate this one right here. And then if you indicate that and they're also going to include apply for an open work permit, you are going to click what? Yes. So you're going to check here and also indicate yes if they are also going to apply for an open work permit. If no, you check no, right? So, but if your spouse is in outside of Canada, then for this one, because I already checked on that one, I'm going to uncheck this one. So if your spouse is living outside of Canada, then you are going to check this one, and they are going to be applying under the family class. Remember that. But if they are currently in Canada, you are going to be applying under the spouse or common law partner in Canada class, right? They also have the option to apply under the family class, right? So there is that option even if they are living currently in Canada and they don't want to apply under the spouse or common law partner in Canada class, they can also apply under the family class, right? So number 6 is the generic application form. For the generic application form, it says you, the primary applicant, must complete this form for yourself and your dependents, right? So that is an important form to fill out. Number 7 is the country-specific requirement. So for the country-specific requirement, it says that you, the primary applicant, must check the country-specific requirements to confirm if any additional forms are required based on your country of residence. And below it says list any additional forms you are providing here, starting with the IMM form number. So I will show you guys what this means. So as you can see on my screen, I have the country-specific requirements, and I used a demo for Nigeria. So if there is any other extra information you'll be providing, as you can see here, supplementary information rather, which is all for travel, details of military service. If you read this, it's going to explain to you what this means, right? And then these are going to be things like the birth certificate issued by this country. This is what it means by number 7, country-specific requirements. Once we start the application process, which is like how to complete the forms, I'll show you guys how to get this information right here, and how for every country, it's not just limited to Nigeria. So depending on where you are applying from, you can be able to see the specific country requirement for your country. Let's continue. Number 8 is the additional family information. So in here it says the following persons must fill out their own copy of this form. You, the principal applicant, and any of your family members 18 years of age or older. So if you are filling out extra information, which I will also show you guys during the actual filling out of the forms, I will show you guys what it looks like. Then you're going to check off this particular one as well. Number 9, definitely you're going to do the background and declaration form. You check that one out. Then number 10 is for both the sponsor and the principal applicant. So relationship information and sponsorship evaluation. So the sponsor and principal applicant should complete the form and sign the declarations where indicated. So yeah, this is the relationship information and sponsorship evaluation. So down here is going to show you declaration of applicant. Down here as well, you're going to see where the applicant can sign and where the sponsor can sign as well. I'll show you guys all about that in the step 3 of this application process. So for number 11, if you are using a representative, then you are going to choose I am appointing a representative, which is this one here. If not, then you are going to say I am not appointing a representative, right? And then for number 12, authority similar to the first one. So if you are releasing your information to a designated individual, then you are going to check this one. If not, you just say not applicable. And then we move to part B, which is supporting documents required. So for the supporting documents, it says here, supporting documents for sponsor. So the sponsor here, you are going to indicate your status in Canada. So if you're a permanent resident, you are going to check that one. If you're a Canadian citizen, same. If you're an Indian, a registered Indian under the Canadian Indian Act, then this is what you are going to indicate. Then for number 2, if you are a Canadian citizen living outside Canada, if you watched the step 1 of this video where I talked about some of the important things to remember if you are a Canadian living outside of Canada, then this is going to be applicable to you, because here you are going to indicate that you are living outside of Canada. But if this doesn't apply to you and you fall under this place, which is a permanent resident in Canada and a Canadian citizen in Canada, then it is easy to keep going and you do not need to do anything here. But if not, check this once and keep going. Then number 4, previous relationship. So if you've had are you the sponsor currently married to anyone other than the person you're sponsoring? This is boring, but at the same time, it's also self-explanatory. If yes, you are going to indicate and read more to understand. Then number 5, you're going to provide your employment / source of income. And then supporting documents for sponsored persons. Here, you are going to indicate the type of document you will be providing, and it gives you the details of the types of documents you will be needing, right? And then moving on here, I just checked passport and birth certificate. Then civil status document. So for current relationship, you are going to check this one if you are legally married to your sponsor, and this is for the applicant, right? And then if you are if you were in a previous relationship, it says previous relationship. If you, the primary applicant, have been previously married and are divorced, then you are going to check this one. So important to read this and see where you fall under so you know exactly what to check off. Then additional information about children, if that applies to you, then you are going to check and choose which one that applies to you. Is it for minors, for children, or for adopted children? And then for number 4, police certificate and clearance. Same process. If you are currently living in your country, you are going to provide a police certificate. But it says for Canadian police certificates, if your family live in Canada, then do not worry. It says IRCC will make a request for a Canadian police certificate on your behalf, right? On your behalf. So that's something else to remember. Then for military service, if that applies to you, you are going to indicate yes or no. Then number 5, you're going to provide 2 recent photos for each of your accompanied family members and yourself. Then number 6, medical exam. It says do not complete a medical exam at this time. You'll be issued medical instructions at the appropriate time in processing, right? Then number 7, proof of relationship. Proof of relationship to sponsor. Then here you are going to provide the documents in both of the following. So if you are, it says A, are you and your spouse currently living together? If yes, then it says provide the following documents. Pick at least 2 of the following. At least 2. But if no, then you have to provide the documents in both of the following bullets. So this one. But if this applies to you, then you just have to choose 2 out of this, right? But if you did not, it says if you did not check at least 2 boxes above, then you are going to check this, that you're unable to provide the documents, that you're going to instead submit a detailed written explanation of why these are not available, right? Do you and your spouse have any children together? Yes or no? Same process. Is this a first marriage for both you and your spouse? Yes or no? You follow the same process. Once you finish all of that, and then you come down to the signature area. So this is more like trying to remind you on the most important documents. Which are these documents I have here, which is application to sponsor, agreement and undertaking. We have the relationship information and sponsorship evaluation. We have the use of representative, which I believe not everybody will leave, and the rest of them that I will be showing you guys in the next video, which is the step 3. So here you're going to check that application to sponsor agreement undertaking, that it says submit the original document. The form must be signed by the sponsor and the principal applicant. Generic application form, principal applicant will sign. Additional dependents, principal applicant, or not applicable, meaning if you don't have any dependents coming with you. Relationship information and sponsorship evaluation, you are going to do the same. Actually, this checklist helps show you exactly the areas that you must make sure you put your signature. Like it says here, page 3, page 8, question 9, question 12, declaration of sponsor, declaration of sponsor, and then the principal applicant. These are the areas that they need to sign. Then for additional family information, then if you filled as in that out as a principal applicant, you are going to check this off. Same with background and declaration, you will do the same. And once you do that for the representative, if it's not applicable, you indicate not applicable. Authority to release personal information, if it's not applicable, indicate not applicable. Once you do all of this, you are going to do what? Simply save, print it. And remember, before you save and print, ensure that you've checked off every bullet that applies to you, and also ensure that you are going to assemble all the needed extra documentations that will be needed. This is kind of like an in-depth explanation on what you're going to be providing. I hope this video helps someone out there. And once you've done this part, we will go straight to the part step 3, and I'll show you guys how to apply for, as in how to complete the application forms, all the forms, so that once you finish this whole process, you can submit the spouse, partner, and dependent children sponsorship application. Take the time to go through this yourself and figure it out. It's going to help you so that you send a complete application. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which is how to fill out the application forms for the spouse, partner, and dependent children application process. Bye for now.